we are for chapter 13, Goldenrod. That afternoon, Noah showed up in the nature center, as he always did. Just before the session started, he stopped by our table. "I'm going to try to get you out of that cage, Humphrey. You too, Og." "Don't do us any favors," I squeaked to him. I guess he meant well, but I had owls and other scary creatures on my mind. I know. Noah acted as if he understood me, though he clearly had not. "You want to be free. I'll get you out of there." I got that shivery, quivery feeling again, but Miss Mac was talking, and I tried to forget what Noah said. It wasn't long, though, before he was waving his hand. "Yes, Noah?" Miss Mac said. "If we can't free the animals, couldn't we at least let Humphrey get some fresh air?" he asked. Miss Mac looked puzzled. "This classroom is in the open air. The front wall is completely open." "He could walk around in his hamster ball," he suggested. Everyone, including Katie and Miss Mac, seemed to think this was a good idea, and soon I was lazily spinning my way through the rows of chairs. Miss Mac switched off the lights so she could show some slides of flowers. As I rolled down the aisle, I passed by Garth's chair just as he was stretching his leg, and I bounced off his foot. I then rolled to someone else's chair leg, bounced again, and picked up speed. Everyone was watching the slides, except me, as my hamster ball rolled through the open wall of the nature center onto a small porch. I stopped moving my paws and let the ball coast slowly down the porch. It was bright outside and the air was very fresh. The rough boards made my ride a little bumpy, but it was lovely being out of my cage and experiencing freedom, like Noah had said, as long as I had the sturdy plastic hamster ball to protect me. Then I hit an especially big bump, took a sharp turn, and bounced down 3 little steps. Bumpity bump bump. The ball picked up speed and whirled and twirled its way down a path, veering off to the side into a thick underbrush. Thumpity thump thump. I was feeling pretty anxious when the ball came to a sudden stop against the trunk of a tree, hitting with such force that the lid of the ball popped open. If I'd wanted to, I could have hopped out of the ball and disappeared into the wild. I was pretty sure I didn't want to. While I was trying to figure out my next move, I heard that sound again. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Scritch, scritch, scritch. "Hello?" I squeaked. "Eek!" a familiar voice squeaked. "Eek yourself!" I squeaked back. "Can you help me?" That's when I saw the little brown mouse with big dark eyes peek out at me from behind a tree trunk. "Oh, it's you," the mouse said. "What are you doing in that thing?" "It's not a thing. It's a hamster ball." I was a little annoyed with it for even asking, but then I had an amazing revelation. Unlike Og or Lovey or Jake, who actually didn't make any sounds at all, I could understand this creature just as I'd been able to understand Winky, the hamster I'd met a while back. Maybe we were related. "Would you happen to be a hamster?" I asked. "A what?" it replied. "Don't be silly, I'm a mouse, a girl mouse." "I knew that," I admitted. "I've seen mice before, but they were in cages at Petorama." "Eek!" she squeaked again, her big eyes blinking. "Cages?" "Never mind," I said. "Can you help push me back toward the nature center? I think I've rolled off course," I explained. "If you could push down the lid of this thing, it would help." The mouse came a few steps closer, but she was definitely on her guard. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Humphrey. I am a hamster." "A classroom hamster," I added proudly. "Oh," she said. "I'm not sure what that is, but you look a lot like a mouse. Why don't you come out of that thing?" It was an interesting question. "Don't you want to come out into the wild?" she asked. "Out in the wild? Me?" "Well," I stalled for time. I live in a school, in a classroom." She was clearly horrified. "With humans? Inside?" "What's wrong with humans?" I asked. She shuddered. "They don't like mice, for one thing. Besides, you're not meant to live inside. You should live outside like me." I didn't agree with her, any more than I agreed with Noah. "By the way, who are you?" I asked, only because she'd asked me the same question earlier. "I'm Goldenrod," she said in a friendlier voice. "I mean, that's what everybody calls me." "Nice name," I said, and I meant it. "Isn't it very dangerous to live outside, with owls and bats and howlers?" Goldenrod looked puzzled. "Howlers? What are they?" "Oh," I answered, "they are horrible, terrible things. Well, I'm not sure what they are. I've only heard about them. They go, ow." Goldenrod's nose twitched at that thought as she thought about that. I've never seen them or heard them. Owls are very scary, of course, but bats are nothing to worry about. Yes, there are dangers out here, but it's better than life in prison, isn't it? Prison? I asked. Who's in prison? I've seen them carry you around in that prison, she said. I couldn't help chuckling. That's my cage. It protects me from dangerous things like dogs and cats. What are they? Goldenrod asked. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous creatures, I said. You're lucky you've never met them. Goodness, I guess I am, Goldenrod replied. I've seen foxes, of course, and coyotes, but never dogs and cats. Foxes and coyotes sounded every bit as dangerous as dogs and cats, but I didn't say so. Besides, I can get in and out of my cage whenever I want, I explained. I have a lock that doesn't lock. Goldenrod tilted her head to one side. A lock? I could see it wasn't going to be easy to explain the role of a pet to her. Anyway, it's not a prison. In fact, humans love me. Goldenrod gasped. Humans love? I gasped in return. Of course! They love each other and they love their pets. Wow, I had no idea, Goldenrod said. I thought they just made noise and tore down trees and set fires. No, I told her. They like to feed animals and play games and burp and sing silly songs about little Bunny Foo-Foo. Goldenrod's eyes got wide. Bunny Foo-Foo? Does he live around here? No, I chuckled. Never mind. Then I changed the subject. Can you help me, Goldenrod? I asked. Could you close this lid and give me a push? Luckily, the ball had stopped with the lid on the side, right at Goldenrod's feet. Yes, if that's what you want, she said. It's been interesting to meet you, Humphrey. She reached up with her front paws and pushed the lid closed. Oh, and I'll never forget you, Goldenrod. We have a lot in common, you know, I told her. I won't forget you either, Humphrey, she said. Let me know if you ever decide to be wild. And with that, she gave the ball a big push, and I rolled back toward the nature center. I was impressed with her strength. Thanks, 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 I squeaked to her. Bye, Humphrey, she squeaked back. I had to run as hard as I could to roll the ball to the bottom of the steps. As I caught my breath, I heard noise coming from the cabin. There seemed to be quite a commotion going on there. Humphrey! Humphrey! That was Miss Mack's voice, but I never heard her quite so excited before. Maybe he rolled under the desk, Katie said. Or outside, another voice suggested. There were footsteps as Miss Mack and some of the kids ran out onto the porch. I hope he didn't roll out there, Miss Mack sounded worried. Wait a second, I see him. I recognized Simon's voice. More footsteps, and then Miss Mack reached down and gently picked up my hamster ball. Oh, Humphrey, you had us so worried, she said softly. I guess you had yourself a little adventure. You have no idea, I squeaked weakly. Noah was out on the porch, too. Miss Mack turned to him. Noah, you can see how dangerous it can be for a pet to be out of his cage. He was in his hamster ball, he said, but I bet he wishes he could have just kept on going. That's not for you to decide, Miss Mack said firmly. Right, I agreed. In a few seconds I was safe and secure in my cage. I was glad to be back. And when I rested up, I'd tell Og what happened. For the moment, I crawled into my sleeping hut for a nice doze. In the background, Miss Mack was talking about how everybody, even she, was responsible for what had happened. When I closed my eyes, all I could see was Goldenrod's face. As I drifted off to sleep, the words, I won't forget you, Humphrey, repeated over and over in my mind. Note to self, even a creature who is a lot like you can have very different opinions. And that's the end of the chapter. So it sounds like Humphrey made himself a nice little friend, but it also sounds like our friend Noah has something up his sleeve, like maybe he wants to get him into the wild. What do you think? Do you think that Humphrey should be in the wild, or do you think he's doing just fine as a classroom pet?